I thought the last 20 minutes of The Rip was full of action, great set pieces, and really finished the film off in an explosive bang. But was the first hour and a half worth the wait? Well, I just watched The Rip, the latest Netflix film starring Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, and directed by Joe Carnahan, and I'm here to tell you if it's worth your time this weekend or not. This film is about a team of special cops who deal with finding funds that are used in drugs and the trafficking of drugs. And in this film, they get a tip about a house that has a certain amount of money in it. They go there and they discover way more than they ever thought was possible, instantly telling them that this is probably cartel money and putting them in a world of shit. On top of that, they have to deal with the fact that their supervisor, their chief, their captain, whatever, was killed at the beginning of the film. No one knows who did it, and they're trying to figure out who it was amidst allegations of corruption among the team and potentially that someone inside was involved with the murder. If you've seen a crime drama, a heist film, anything like that, you're already familiar with the story beats. You already know someone on this team is shady. You already know there's gonna be some red herrings where you start to question, is this person guilty? Is that person guilty? As you put the pieces together with a resounding answer that leads into an explosive final act. This film follows everything to the book, like beat for beat, point for point, which is both good and bad. You know what to expect, but you're not really surprised or thrilled or astounded by anything. I remember back in the day, you would turn on a film on a Friday night, Saturday night, and it'd be a made-for-TV movie, and you could instantly tell because the production values were lower, the set pieces were lower. It just felt like a smaller film. This is one of those to me, which is surprising given its star power, but Netflix does a lot of these films where they have all this star power and all this production behind it, but it just feels like a small film, and that could be because of budget constraints, the script, whatever the case may be. For example, the Extraction film starring Liam Hemsworth, geez, I can't get his name right. They felt like really big movies. Big casts, lots of locations, big action set pieces, lots of extras, lots of actors, explosive, exciting, quick paced. This felt much smaller than that because 90% of the film is basically in one house and involves them talking and trying to figure out who amongst them they can trust. Now, this will work if you're Tarantino and you do The Hateful Eight because you are an amazing writer and you know how to build tension that way. Not so much in this film. I felt a little bored. The middle 30 minutes kind of dragged on and on and on. You already start to put together the pieces of who's the inside man and who's not. It takes a while to really get to the highlight of the film, which is the closing act, where everything is answered if you didn't already guess who the responsible parties were, and then big explosive action set pieces. That's probably what you expected from the whole film, and you just don't get it. You don't really care about the characters. There's not a ton of backstory amongst them. Ben Affleck's character, it has a problem with his brother who's in Fed. Matt Damon's character's son died of cancer. That's about all you get. And so but it's not really set up. It's like they get a tip, they go and they're in this house, and it's like you don't really care if they live or die. It just doesn't really matter to you because these characters, they don't feel like lived real characters. It's like you start in the middle of the film, you go to this heist, you figure out who did what, you finish it up, and you're out of here. There's nothing wholly inherently bad about this film, but there's not really anything great about this film either. It's right in that meh category, which is, disappointing because I think Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are really good at these roles, the sort of gritty, cops and robbers, crime dramas. I think they're really good at this kind of stuff, and they are good in these roles, but there's just not a lot to play with here. And I always question, who are these movies made for? Because I just don't know the business model with Netflix, because I'm sure this film costs a lot of money regardless of the small set pieces, but it's one of those films where you'll watch it once, you'll maybe enjoy it or not, and then you'll never think about it again. You'll never be 5 years from now and be like, man, I really want to watch that again. This isn't on the level of The Town or Gone Girl or some of Joe Carnahan's other films like Narc. It's not to that level, so it's not a film you'll ever come back to. So I always wonder with Netflix, part of their appeal is to get big names and be like, look who we got. It's also to have this library of things you can enjoy down the road for many years to come. So for example, Stranger Things, 10 years from now, people will turn it on and do a rewatch of it. Or the Extraction films, when you want a cool action film, you'll watch that. There's a lot of examples like that on Netflix, but this film is just gonna fall into the catalog of films that Netflix has, never to be seen again. So I just always wonder, who finances these and why and how possibly they can make a return on this kind of stuff. So if you're sitting down and figuring out what you're gonna watch this weekend and you thought about, hey, let's watch that Ben Affleck, Matt Damon flick, should you cue it? Should you screw it? I don't hate that I watched it. I don't really love or have much to say about it. You can tell by the fact that this review is kind of quick, but I would say if you have nothing better to do, give it a watch, cue it. If you're expecting the next great crime thriller, probably won't get it. So in that sense, I would say cue it, but with a caveat that there's nothing better to do or better to watch. And if I'm rating this on the Q scale between 1 and 5 stars, I would put this at like a 3, which is similar to a recent show I reviewed called His and Hers on Netflix. You can check out my review right here. I think I'm pointing at the card right now. Click that to check out another Netflix series. This one also wasn't that great. Honestly, I'm a little bummed with Netflix lately because I've done reviews of His and Hers, The Rip, The Abandons, and none of those have really blown me away. I'm still waiting on that next Netflix show or film that really blows me away and is like, whoa, this was great, like Mindhunter or Stranger Things or something like that. Until then, I'll keep watching and hoping for the best. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you can do me a favor, give me a like, a comment, subscribe to the channel, help me grow. I'd really appreciate it. And until next time, stop scrolling, start watching.